that when the Republic was being taken up to the gallows to be hung from the neck until dead. Before that switch got kicked and the floor opened up and we died as a country forever, Providence showed its face again. Its old face. Smiling face of an old man. Pulling us back yet again from the brink. And just a spirit of life, a spirit of success, a spirit of joy, a spirit of future endeavors, a spirit of believing in humanity came back into the world like a sunbeam cutting through the tempest. And that's where we are right now. You can feel the energy tectonically shifting. You can feel all the old scores and all the old battles, all the repercussions, the percussions of past battles echoing through the space-time continuum and bouncing back from the future to where we are. We can all tell that we're in an amazing moment in history right now. And that's why I struggle before I do these live feeds. Like, how do I articulate the gravity, the depth, the importance, the historical nature, the timelessness of where we are? You know, if you actually study what's come out in Congress and what's confirmed, you have the most compromised, evil, twisted, weak people like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and all these horrible two-party systems that work together, bought off by the wicked communist Chinese who've committed crimes against their own people that no one's ever committed. I mean, Hitler's here, Stalin's here, communist China's up here. I mean, it's, and of course one murder's the same as a million, but man, in the scale of it and the way it's condoned and the way it's protected. So here we are, and I've watched what's happened. I always go with my gut. At least in the last decade, I didn't used to follow it. The more I follow my gut, everything's okay. Problem is now I just follow it. I intellectually study things, but now I at 44, I've just learned to just go with it, and everything's so much better. You know, they had that famous Trump quote where he said, you know, I used to mind myself with details and obsess over things, but the deepest thing I ever did was to start going with just my first assumption, and that was the deepest thing in my life, was being shallow. And people didn't get how zen that statement was. They thought, oh my God, look at this asshole. He's saying the deepest thing he ever did was being shallow. You ever ignored your woman's intuition? Because women consciously, statistically, aren't as good as men at making decisions on the battlefield. But decisions about the house to buy or the job to have or the man to be with or the intuition about street smarts, the women have it. We balance that out together. So, in closing here, I just want to say this. I have watched Trump in a compendium of what he's done. And always when something looks like a betrayal, it turns out to be the opposite. But I have guiltily not gone with my gut the last 6 months sometimes and attacked Trump on issues just so I could feel like I was being fair. But if somebody wanted you to cut your baby in two so that they'd get one half of it, that wouldn't be fair. And then it turns out my gut about Trump's been right. And McCabe and all of them set up a criminal network inside the Justice Department and then paid for fake dossiers and ordered FBI agents that found no evidence to alter the 302s. That's all over the news now. That's breaking if you're... And I mean, that each count of that is a felony. That's a federal court document. That's perjury. Because they see the FBI agents as officers of the federal court, almost like lawyers. And so that's how they're able to say if you lied to an FBI agent in an interview, it's the equivalent of lying in court federally Well, that having someone alter 302 is the same thing. And I'm not here to kiss the FBI's ass. I'm here to be honest. In my experience, the average FBI agent's dedicated, smart, hardworking. Rob Dew's uncle's retired FBI guy, Navy SEAL, decorated, patriot. I won't say what he's told us behind the scenes privately. Maybe if Dew wants to, but he said we're basically, know what we're talking about. And so he's not Rob Dew's uncle's not the enemy. The media tries to act like if we're mad at political corruption inside the government that we hate the whole government. That's not the case. So the magnitude of what's going on is unspeakable. Everyone knows that I don't come on air and say, oh, we're winning. Oh, it's all over next week. Oh, Hillary will be indicted next week. I don't do all that stuff. People used to think I was super negative and we were way behind. I would admit we were way behind, but I would explain that if we didn't fight back, we'd get pushed over and totally enslaved. Now, we are not way ahead because in the time space of all these decades, they're way ahead. But let's say they're this far ahead. We're like warping right now. Like they realize we're about to be ahead. Like it took them 100 years of globalists and robber barons, the British Empire manipulation to get up here. And just in 5 years, and that's why they're like, that's the point. They don't know what to do. We're about to win. And I'll use the cheesy analogy of Terminator. They'd already blown up, the AI command, and it knew, Skynet knew it had to go back to stop it. And we're basically at that point. Here's winning, getting this system of globalism off us, this dystopia. Doesn't mean a utopia is coming, but at least right-headedness, a new renaissance. We're there. That's why the energy's so high. It's why they're so panicked. What are they going to launch in the next 6 weeks? Because people would think the government trying to take my kids away and the lies, the persecution, them offering all the former employees money to lie about me, all the fake lawsuits by Georgetown and Obama's people and Hillary's people. They think I'm sitting there like with a bank ledger going, oh, I got this much money. Oh, that's against me. And the left thinks I'm like them, like they attack me and it's all about me. So, I'll pull back because of peer pressure. I go towards the attack. And again, that's not like even anything special. That's what you do if you're trying to change the world. So I've never been more alive. I've never been freer. And then, the globalists already know this. The phone's already tapped. Well, I used to think like a couple years ago, this was like patronizing me. When I'd be on the phone with some top retired general, recently retired, or high-level CIA people, current, former, or people in Hollywood or whatever, I used to think it was like a patronizing. Like, what do we do, Alex? We're waiting for you to lead, Alex. What are we supposed to do? What do we do? And I thought it was like paranoid, like, oh, this is a manipulation. You're not going to stroke my ego. I'm a very humble person. And then I realized in my conversations with the president and others, when the president just says, we're going to make it, our spirit's strong, we got to believe in God, we're going to make it to the other side, be strong, I'm going to be strong, it's going to be hard. That all of us, man, woman, and child, black, white, old, young, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, as long as we love God, we're all equal. We are peers. We're peers with Trump. He's peers with us. He's just got a lot of strength. He's connected to God. He understands what's going on. He is putting a very strong face on for everybody, and it's happening. And I've had leaders of the most elite military teams there are tell me, Alex, you're too humble. We're waiting for leadership. What are we supposed to do? What do we do? And I'm like, is that an ego thing? They're like, no, you've already done this. We understand you're for real, and you're specialized in this. What do we do? And it's the same thing I just say to them. Just keep telling the truth and whatever you think's best, and you need to be a leader as well. And I don't tell you that stuff to brag, folks. I don't tell you that to brag. I tell you that because this is real. And what InfoWars has them scared. And what is it? I don't get off on seeing a crippled kid. I don't get off on having a bigger house than somebody. I don't get off on having knowledge. I want to share it. And that's why they think Trump's mentally ill. It's why they say I have a dark heart and I'm a monster. Because to them, you don't give that knowledge. People that have this knowledge, you don't give it to the profane. You understand? But I instinctively want knowledge from people that have more than I, and I want to give you the knowledge I have, and I believe in you. But these sick people, they believe that they've got a
process trying to get at least 6 bodies out from about 2 million pounds of concrete. They've been working all through the night, all through the day to try and make that happen using jackhammers, saws, rubber belts to try and lift up sections of that bridge. They've been trying to do it in a private and dignified manner as well. They put up tarps for privacy. We've just seen the stretchers go out, so they pulled out 3 bodies this morning, and they might be about to pull another one out today. Miami-Dade police have said that recovering the dead, recovering the remains, and identifying them is the top priority here.
As the process it moves forward, every time that we remove a body, a victim, within the vehicles, the vehicles with the victims inside are being transferred to the medical examiner's office, and that's where the bodies will be removed from the vehicle and identified so that we can have 100% confirmation as to their identity, so we can bring some closure.
There's been a lot of attention given to a crack that was discovered in this pedestrian bridge at least 2 days before the bridge collapsed. Right now, NTSB officials are saying they are not certain at this point whether that crack was responsible for the bridge coming down. And finally, the remains that we see behind us are likely to be pulled out to a family center and a medical identification center there. We've seen flatbed trucks rolling in with those bodies there. A lot of families still waiting for notification, with Red Cross members, with grief counselors trying to comfort each other through this very difficult 48 hours. Eric, back to you.
It's just so horrendous. Steve, thank you. Martha.
Well, Eric, we have an update on the illegal immigrant accused in a deadly hit and run. His status with ICE right now, we'll tell you about that. Plus, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe not keeping his peace one day after he was fired. You're going to hear from a former FBI Assistant Director.
The way that he went about this, it looks very much like it was vindictive and political. That Mr. McCabe was not treated fairly, but just as importantly, it just shows politics enters into the Department of Justice when it shouldn't.
If you like spice and fish, there's this. If you like fish but not spice, there's this. If you don't like fish or spice, you're really going to like everything else